On the 21st of March, South Africa celebrates Human Rights Day. This day is both a celebration of the rights of all citizens and the solemn remembrance of the suffering and sacrifice of Sharpeville massacre. The day marks an affirmation by ordinary people rising in unison to proclaim their rights, a reminder of the cost paid for our treasured human rights. The fundamental rights of South Africans are enshrined in our Constitution under the Bill of Rights.
The Bill of Rights, which is a cornerstone of democracy in our country, enshrines the rights of all people in the country and affirms the democratic values of human dignity, equality, and freedom.
Our Constitution was drawn up by the Parliament elected in 1994 in the first South African general election. It was promulgated by President Nelson Mandela on 18th of December 1996 and came into effect on the 4th of February 1997, replacing the interim constitution of 1993.
We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of our past, honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, respect those who have worked to build and develop our country, and believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity. We therefore, through our freely elected representatives, adopt this Constitution as the supreme law of the Republic, so as to, number one, heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values of social justice and fundamental human rights. Number two, lay the foundations for a democratic and open society in which government is based on the will of the people and every citizen is equally protected by law. Number three, improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person. And lastly, build a united and democratic South Africa able to take its rightful place as a sovereign state in the family of nations. May God protect our people. Nkosi sikelele Africa. Morena bologa se chaba saheso. Hot scene said Africa. God bless South Africa. Mudzimu fatutedza Africa. Hose katekisa Africa.
Right to equality.
Everyone is equal before the law and has the right to equal protection and benefit of the law. Equality includes the full and equal enjoyment of all rights and freedoms.
Right to human dignity.
Everyone has dignity and the right to have their dignity respected and protected.
Right to life.
Everyone has the right to life.
Freedom and security of the person.
This includes the following rights: not to be put in prison without good reason, not to be detained without trial, to be free from all kinds of violence in both public and private, not to be treated or punished in a cruel, inhumane, or degrading way. Torture is not allowed. To make decisions about reproduction, having children, to make control of our own bodies, nobody to be forced to have medical or scientific experiments done on people.
Slavery, servitude, and forced labor.
No form of slavery or forced labor is allowed.
Right to privacy.
Everyone has the right to privacy, including the right not to be body searched without a court order, have your home searched without a court order, have your things taken from you, or have your letters opened or your telephone tapped.
Freedom of religion, belief, and opinion.
Everyone has the right to believe or think what they want. Even if their opinion is different to the government, everyone has the right to practice the religion they choose and in the way they choose, provided that their actions do not go against the Constitution.
Freedom of expression.
Everyone has the right to say what they want, including the press and the media. However, there are certain kinds of speech that are not protected, which means that this right is limited in certain ways.
Assembly, demonstration, picket, and petition.
Everyone has a right to assemble with other people, hold a demonstration, picket, or present petition. They must do this in a peaceful way, and they may not carry weapons.
Freedom of association.
Everyone has the right to associate with whoever they want. For example, workers joining together and meeting in a trade union.
Political rights.
Everyone has the right and is free to make political choices, such as the right to form a political party, join any political party, encourage other people to join a political party, campaign for a political party or cause.
Right to citizenship.
Your citizenship is protected and cannot be taken away from you.
Freedom of movement and residence.
Everyone has the right to move and live anywhere in South Africa and to enter and leave South Africa as they choose. They also have a right to a passport.
Freedom of trade, occupation and profession.
Every citizen has the right to choose their trade, occupation or profession freely. Laws can be passed to regulate how people practice their trade, occupation or professions.
Labor rights.
Everyone has the right to fair labor practices. Workers have the right to form and join trade unions and go on strike. Employers have the right to form and join employers' organizations.
Environmental rights.
Everyone has the right to an environment that is not harmful to their health or well-being, and have the environment protected for present and future generations.
Property rights.
No one can have their property taken away from them unless this is done according to the law.
Right of access to housing.
Everyone has a right to have access to adequate housing. The government must take reasonable steps within its available resources to provide people with housing and access to land.
Right of access to health care, food, water and social security.
Everyone has the right to have access to healthcare services, including childbirth facilities, enough food and water, social security, which means support for people who can't support themselves or their dependents.
Children's rights.
A child is anyone who is under the age of 18, and we have the right to a name and a nationality from the day we are born, to proper care by parents or family member or by someone else if the child has to be taken away from the family, to enough food, shelter, basic health care and social services, to be protected from being mistreated, neglected or abused.
Every child is not to be forced to work or given work which is not suitable for a child, to have a lawyer paid for by the government if the child has to appear in court, not to be used in wars, to be protected during times of war.
Right to education.
Everyone has a right to a basic education, including adult basic education, further education which the government must make available and accessible. Everyone has the right to be taught at a government school in their own language, but only if it is practical and if the government can afford it.
Language and culture rights.
Every person has the right to use their own language and follow the culture that they choose, but they cannot do anything that goes against the rights of other people.
Right to cultural, religious and linguistic communities.
Communities have the right to enjoy a shared culture, practice a shared religion and use their language, but they cannot do anything that goes against the rights that other people have.
Access to information rights.
Everyone has the right to have access to information which the government has and or information that someone else has.
Just administrative action.
The right to request reasons for administrative action that negatively affects you.
Access to courts.
Everyone has the right to have their legal problem or case decided by a court or an independent body.
Rights of arrested, detained and accused persons.
Every accused person has a right to a fair trial.
Limitation of rights.
The rights in the Bill of Rights may be limited only in terms of law of general application, to the extent that the limitation is reasonable and justifiable in an open and democratic society based on human dignity, equality and freedom. taking into account all relevant factors, including the nature of the right, the importance of the purpose of the limitation, the nature and extent of the limitation, the relation between the limitation and its purpose, and less restrictive means to achieve the purpose. Other than as set out in Section 1 above, no law may limit the human rights.
Respect human rights.
Know your constitutional rights.